Good morning, all of you. I am your English teacher Rajkumar from Central Public School, Durgjot near Nandor. Today we are going to start with the new lesson, that is lesson 11th, Dolls over the Ages of class 7th. So, my dear children, let's start reading page number 68. We will just read out and explain the lesson. What are the activities, customs, and traditions that make up our culture? Festival, dresses, cuisine, music, and dance are a few of them. In this lesson, you will read about the role that dolls play in some cultures. Actually, you know it very well from the very early of your age that you have also been playing with the dolls, and this is in our culture. So, there are so many cultures in which the children play with their dolls, and what do they just treat them in their culture. Let's read this story and find out. So let's start. Dolls are among the oldest creations of man. It is said that the dolls are the oldest creation of man. When the man started making some things, he first made some dolls for their recreation and for their amusement. Archaeologists have found small dolls of clay, wood, bone, and ivory from graves and other areas excavated. Archaeologists have found small dolls of clay, wood, bone, and ivory from graves and other areas excavated. So, when the archaeologists excavated the land, they also got the dolls of different sizes, and they were made of different things. Some of them were made of clay, means soil, some of them were made of wood, bones, and ivory. The earliest ones were made from natural objects like sticks and stones. But the earliest ones were made of some natural objects, like they were made of sticks and they were made of stones. In India, the earliest dolls unearthed from the site of the Indus Valley civilization are as old as 5,000 years. So, in India, the earliest dolls which were excavated and unearthed from the site were the dolls which were made almost about 5,000 years ago, and these were found near Indus Valley civilization. American Indians made a deity of wood and used it while imparting religious instructions. Some mothers made dolls of feathers and placed them in a cradle of a dead infant and carried the cradle about as though it had a living baby. So the Indians, those who are living in America, the American Indians made a deity of wood and used it while imparting religious instructions. And some of the American Indians' mothers made dolls of feathers and placed them in a cradle of a dead infant and carried the cradle about as though it had a living baby. So some of the mothers made dolls of feathers and they put them in the cradle of dead infant, and they carried the dead cradles with them as it had a living baby. It had a living baby. Dolls of bone, ivory, and mammoth teeth were very popular. These were dressed in hide and fur. So, dolls which were made of bones, elephant tusk, and mammoth teeth were very popular in those days. These were always dressed in hide and fur. Dolls of cloth, wax, and papier mâché also became popular. pottery dolls became common with the children of Victorian England. They had perfect, fragile porcelain heads and rich royal clothing. Children also had a Sunday doll, which was taken out of its glass case only on Sundays. The doll houses were elaborately set up with furniture, pictures, decoration pieces, window drapes, almost everything required in a luxurious home. So, the dolls of cloth, wax, and papier mache. Papier mache means construction material consisting of pieces of paper stuck together using a wet paste. So they were made of cloth, wax, and the papier mache. Pottery dolls became very common with the children of Victorian England. They had perfect, fragile porcelain heads and rich royal clothing, and they were just wrapped up with the royal clothing. Children also had a Sunday doll in Victorian England. Sunday doll was such a kind of doll which was just taken out of its glass case only on the Sundays. That is why it is known as the Sunday dolls. The doll houses were elaborately set up with furnitures, pictures, decoration pieces, window drapes, almost everything required in a luxurious home. So the dolls had a house. They were made a house to live in, and the houses were made of all kinds of furnitures, and there were pictures in the doll houses, and there were also decoration pieces and window drapes, means each and everything which a luxurious house need were available in the dolls houses. In Korea, a traditional doll was made out of a bamboo pipe and long grass was used to form the hair. This doll was not given any features on the face, but some white powder was rubbed over a small area. So in Korea, a traditional doll was made out of a bamboo pipe. A bamboo pipe was used to make the traditional dolls in Korea. And for hair, long grass was used. For making hair of the doll, long grass was used. And this doll was not given any features on the face, but some white powder was just rubbed over a small area of the doll. Some of the earliest Russian dolls were made of pine cones, and these were clothed with moss cloths. Another Russian doll is the Matryoshka doll, also known as a Russian nesting doll or a babushka doll. It is a set of dolls of decreasing sizes, placed one inside the other. A set of Matryoshkas consists of a wooden figure which separates top from bottom to reveal a smaller figure of the same sort inside, which has in turn another figure inside it, and so on. The first Russian nested doll set was carved in 1890 by Vasily Ziodkin. The doll set was painted by the folk crafts painter Sergei Malyotin, who was inspired by a set of Japanese wooden dolls representing the seven gods of fortune. So, when we move forward, some of the earliest Russian dolls were made of pine cones, and these were clothed with moss cloths. Another Russian doll is the Matryoshka doll. Matryoshka doll is also known as the Russian nesting doll or babushka doll. It is a set of dolls of decreasing sizes. It means in the collection of babushka doll, there were so many dolls and they were just made and they were just set off in the decreasing sizes, placed one inside the other. A set of matryoshkas consists of a wooden figure which separates top from bottom to reveal a smaller figure of the same sort inside, which has in turn another figure inside it, and so on. So, in this way, you have come to know that a set of matryoshkas consisting of a wooden figure which separates top from the bottom to reveal a smaller figure of the same sort side. So it means that one doll was put inside the other doll and that other doll was put inside the another other doll. In this way, the matryoshkas were just set. The first Russian nested doll was set carved in 1890 by Vasily Zyordokin. The doll set was painted by the Fokraft's painter Sergei. So this was the first Russian nested doll which was carved in 1890 and this was painted by the folk crafts painter Sergei Malyotin. And Sergei Malyotin was inspired by a set of Japanese wooden dolls representing the seven gods of fortune. The Japanese used dolls for various purposes. A primitive Japanese doll was made of sticks and strings covered with paper clothing. Some dolls were dressed and fed and treated as though alive. These dolls were given to mothers to ward off evil from their children. Japanese women who desired to have a child presented dolls at a place of worship. The Japanese also have ceremonial dolls for boys and girls. These are not for playing but for simply exhibiting on a specific day. The boys exhibit their warrior dolls on March 3rd and the girls' festival falls on May 5th. So, the Japanese used dolls for various purposes. A primitive Japanese dolls, a primitive means belonging to the simple society of olden times. So in olden times, the Japanese doll was made of sticks and strings, and all the dolls were covered with paper clothing. They were covered with paper, and some dolls were dressed beautifully, and the dolls were fed and they were treated as though they are alive. These dolls were given to mothers to just ward off evil from their children. So there were the tradition and the culture in Japan that these dolls were given to the mothers to ward off evils from their own children. Japanese women who desired to have a child presented dolls at a place of worship. So the Japanese woman who desired to have a child, who desired to become a mother, they used to present dolls at the place of worship. The Japanese also have ceremonial dolls for boys and girls. These are not for playing but for simply exhibiting on a special day. So the Japanese used to exhibit the dolls on a specific day which they had fixed. The Japanese has fixed the boys festival as the to exhibit their warrior dolls on March 3rd, and the girls festival used to fall on May 5th. So children, we have completed up to this portion, and we will continue in the next video. Till then, have a good day.